Hey, good morning. It is Thirsty Thursdays, September 6th. I'm going to give you some thoughts to satisfy your thirst for truth, that is. So when I accepted God into my life, when actually He revealed Himself to me and kind of flipped my worldview around back 16, 17 years ago or something like that, anytime I would hear the Big Bang, that term, or the Big Bang Theory, there were some doubts that were raised within me because it would kind of conflict with me believing in God. But as I learned over the course of the next few years, that completely went away because I was like, no, the Big Bang Theory, the Big Bang actually supports what I believe in. So my question is, when you hear that term, does it raise doubts with you? So I'm going to explain kind of the way I understand this. Before the Big Bang Theory came around, and was accepted in the scientific community in the early 1900s. Before that, the overwhelming belief was that the universe had always existed. It was infinite. It was eternal. Something like a steady state theory or something is what it was called, or they called that theory of the universe being always in existence to, infinite past. So that conflicted with the beginning of the Bible that says what? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So for thousands of years, the Bible, it's saying, no, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. In other words, no, the universe had a beginning. So there's a conflict there. However, early 1900s, there's a shift and discoveries begin to be made that point into a beginning of a universe. No, the universe has not always been here. It was actually born. So that lines up with what the Bible had been saying all along. So initially, again, it was, the belief was for thousands of years that the universe had always existed. Like matter was always here, eternally, infinitely, matter and energy and everything you see. And then later on, life came to be, and this primitive life forms became more complex, and you have, humans now that have minds and rational thought and, use language and all of these other things, right, came from this very primitive life form. And before that, it was just matter, right? So that kind of sounds like matter over mind, like material things first, then, life forms, and those life forms at some point, evolved to be humans who have minds and can speak and, use logic and reason and so on. But they put matter above mind, if you will. But with the Big Bang Theory, this shifts, it changes, because it's like, no, all of this that you see was created. So at some point it was not in existence, right? So the book of John says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. The Logos was with God, and the Word was God, and He actually came down, dwelt among us, lived among us, right? And it talks about how through the Word, through the Logos, which it is Jesus, everything that we see, both visible and invisible, actually came to be. That it was through Him that life happened, right? So instead of in the beginning, right, was the particle of matter, or in the beginning was matter, it's no, in the beginning was the Word, the Logos, where we get the word logic from, the mind of God. Because you have to have a mind to be able to create, right? You have to have a mind to be able to design and create a universe that is so finely tuned and ordered, right? It has to come from a mind. So, two different points of view. Way back when, it was in the beginning was the particle or the atom. Now, the Big Bang Theory, the implication is, no, because matter came to be, there has to be something behind that, because there's a foundational or fundamental law that is used to do science. It's called the law of causality. And it says everything that comes to exist has to have a cause, right? That's all science is. It's a discovery of like cause and effect relationships. So the implication of the Big Bang Theory now is that, wait, you can't just believe that the universe exploded out of nothing, right? You can't believe that because it goes against a fundamental scientific law, the law of causality. So Christian apologists have used that to say, okay, we have a cosmological argument that goes like this. Everything that comes to exist, that's premise one, everything that comes to exist has to have a cause. The universe came to exist, and it follows, therefore the universe has to have a cause. So the Big Bang Theory does not explain that, because it can't. It only explains the effect. What happened when this universe exploded into being and was created and everything is hurled out and so on, right? They explain the effects, but the implication is there has to be a cause, right? So how do they get around that? Well, they just say right now, and when I say scientists, I'm talking about secular and atheist scientists, because the world will have you think that there is no Christian scientist, right? That if you're a scientist, a true scientist, you are not going to be a Christian or believe in God, but that's not true. There's world-class scientists that are Christian, right? So the implication is you have to have a cause, right? The Big Bang points to a cause. And the way right now the secular and atheist scientific community gets around that says, okay, like, we can't explain it right now, but as science advances, as technologies improve and get better, as we develop new tools and so on, like at some point we will be able to identify and explain the actual cause, right? But that sounds like faith. They have faith that they will be able to find a cause, be able to identify the cause. Who do they have faith in? They have faith in themselves. So I would rather have faith in God, because I know myself, 48 years, I know how many mistakes I've made, how many times I've been confused, you know, how imperfect I am. I'd rather deposit my faith in the God of the universe. So, summary is that the Big Bang Theory is only explaining the effect of what happened. This is how I see it. It explains the effects of when God said, let there be light, and he went through successively and, you know, created the heavens and the earth, the expanse. He created, you know, the land, he created the animals, and ultimately he created us in his likeness. So the Big Bang just is an attempt at explaining the effects of what happened when God created the heavens and the earth. So it lines up with what the Bible says in Genesis, what the Bible says in the book of John. All right, so have a good day, and those were your thirsty thoughts for Thursday. Peace.